YouTube friends and family, to today's edition of the Wellness Homesteader. So today, as part of the Every Bit Counts challenge, I'm going to talk about flowers and why you might want to preserve them and use them in some different ways. Stay tuned. So you all may remember when I planted this perennial lavender bush. It was in a little tiny thing, and look how beautifully it's grown. So I have been watering this on the daily if it doesn't rain or it hasn't just rained, and it's starting to outgrow the pot. And I want to use the lavender for my chickens in their laying boxes. So I thought, I probably should get busy and harvest some of this. Some of it's beyond itself, but for the most part it is super thick and healthy. So I actually was rubbing the leaves and I realized, oh my word, they smell amazing. I have traditionally only used the buds. So I am going to harvest some of this. Ugh, y'all, I'm getting old. I can't sit on my knees anymore like I used to. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give it a pretty good haircut. It is not done for the season, I don't believe. So this should ensure that it spreads. So I'm just cutting off here, and yes, I realize I'm getting some stems, but my primary use for this year is going to be to dehydrate it and then use some of it in the girls' laying boxes, because y'all, I'm telling you, it does work. They're in and out of there much quicker if they have their lavender. They're not spoiled or anything. So just a couple brief updates here while I'm trimming. Miss Violet is still sitting on her 2 eggs. This morning, she's been getting out every day to like dust bathe and eat and such, which is such a relief because I thought she was spending too much time in the box. I'm a typical worried mom. She must be coming out more than I realize. She doesn't stay out for long periods of time. That's typical when a hen is broody and trying to hatch eggs. So I was trying to help her get the eggs underneath. She was like, I have told you this before, Mom. I got this. So I'm just gonna let nature take its course. If it doesn't work out and the eggs don't hatch and she remains broody, I will try for some more fertilized eggs. I don't know what else to do, but she really seems to like be all into the mommy thing right now. So who knew? Oh y'all, I wish you could smell this. It is the purest, most delicious smell. And if you've ever purchased lavender, scented things that aren't with real lavender, there's like no comparison, y'all, no comparison. So there's a few ways. If you don't have a dehydrator, if you do have a dehydrator, you can actually do this at a very low temp. It'll dry pretty quickly, maybe like 195 to 115, certainly no more than 115. I want it to retain its scent. I'm going to leave some along the edges here because it's just starting to bloom out and I don't want to shock it so much. So there's a few here as well. And I got quite a bit, y'all. I got all of this. So the other way, if you don't have a dehydrator, you can simply lay them out on a screen on your dehydrator trays, which is what I'm going to do, and allow them to dry naturally. Living in Ohio, sorry, I didn't mean to sigh so big, like this is like such a challenge for me. We are so humid, y'all, and I was watching on the Weather Channel this morning and I wanted to smack that reporter. I'm a nonviolent person, because they are showing a huge part, I'll say, of the Midwest and even up into the Northeast that is going to be well above normal temperatures for the month of August. Like, I'm so over the heat, y'all. I'm a very warm-blooded person. I still have hot flashes, which may be TMI, but Lordy, I'm tired of the heat. But on the blessing side, last year I did get water lines run so that I have a way to water outside, and everything is doing great. Now my tomatoes are a little heat stressed, which you can tell they will get cracks in them, etc. But you know what? I'm super glad that I got 50 pounds of tomatoes from the Amish auction. I do also want to show you this, y'all. It is humongous, and excuse my squinting. Even though it's overcast, I'm sensitive to light and should have my sunglasses on. I'm sure you can see these up here. This is the largest, the absolute largest sweet pepper plant. And this was a Bonnie plant, and it is an orange bell. I will tell you, it drinks a lot of water, and it will look wilty if it doesn't have enough. But out of one plant, I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 good-sized peppers on it already. And I'm going to be making some relish. So I have cucumbers, I have leftover onions from my harvest, and I want to make some sweet pickle relish for the winter and up until harvest time next year. So this is going to be a gracious plenty. Okay, and now the sun is out. So there's one other thing that I do want to harvest that relates to flowers. And if you've never done it, I want to share it with you. I do have a video on it, but it was way long ago. And also, speaking of videos, I hope I'm speaking up. Y'all, this soft voice has been a curse all my life. Back in my cheerleading days, every time we had a game, I would get laryngitis because I would be trying to yell, and my voice just isn't acclimated for that. So what I'm going to do is take you around front. Now, there will be some truck traffic, so probably what I'm going to do is just music over that part. It's Friday, so that can be a busy day. I do live on a state route, which also may be TMI, I don't know. But we just have far too much truck traffic, especially on Friday. So, and when they're blasting at the quarry and hauling away rock. So let's go around front. I'm gonna harvest some rose petals, then I'm gonna talk about what we're gonna do with them. Stay tuned. So actually, day 2 of Every Bit Counts. You know, some days the best laid plans go awry, so I did not get to my second Preserve It Up challenge that I was going to do yesterday. But you know, here's the beauty of the challenge, y'all. Every bit does count. And I didn't say this, but make your own rules. It doesn't have to be every day. It doesn't have to be great amounts, or you know, using canning or freeze drying, or even a dehydrator. Whatever works for you and your family is what you should do. Now, I was hoping traffic would not be so bad this morning, and it is a little quieter than it was yesterday. So what am I going to do? Well, I am going to, first of all, deadhead my roses. So anytime you're growing roses and you get down to, let me stand up. Oh, I'm sitting on a rock, and that is not terribly comfortable. Let me just show you here. When the roses look like this, you definitely want to cut that part off, or what they call deadhead. And what this does is it keeps the plant from putting all of its energy into these waning blossoms, and helps the roses to spread out. So what I'm going to do first here is trim off all the parts that are done blooming. Super simple, right? And you can see, oh, well, you can't see very well. Right here, we've got some new growth. But on flowers that are nearly done, so looking like this, I am going to save those rose petals, and I'm going to share a quick project with you. So I'm going to get busy. So as you see, the rose bush is a lot less full of roses, but I have a ton of buds starting. And we have a whole pan of rose petals. So let's go inside and make every bit count. So what you're going to need for this project is some rose petals, some sugar, some vinegar with the mother, and some distilled water, or if you're on a well, you can use well water to make this concoction. So what on earth am I making? I've shared this before in a long time ago video, but having light color hair, my hair tends to absorb minerals, color, it would get green from the swimming pool, those type things. So I have learned that using a vinegar rinse on my hair is super helpful. And I made a very large amount of rose vinegar 2 years ago, but I'm down to about 1/4 of an inch. So after I shampoo my hair, I will put the conditioner on, rinse that out, and then put the vinegar rinse. It will take out any residue if you use product in your hair, number one. It softens your hair, number two. Number three, it makes it very shiny. And number four, it trues up your color if you have light color hair or hair that's prone to discoloration from minerals in the water. So what I have here is a 1/2 gallon jar. I'm gonna spend some time, not gonna make y'all watch, pulling off all the petals and placing them in this jar. And then I'll bring you back to show you what's next. I had to pop on and show you this. If you don't think he's hanky-panky Frankie, this is like a prime example. He is always up in my business. What are you doing, Poopa? Yeah, why don't you get down? You got grass on you. Ugh. All right, what we have here is a 1/2 gallon jar. 2/3 to 3/4 full. I don't have it tightly compressed. To that, because we're making vinegar, the organisms are going to need something to feed on. So let me see. Yeah. So 1/2 cup of sugar in 1/2 gallon. And then to get our vinegar started, and I am using raw sugar, y'all, but table sugar works just fine. I've done it both ways. I am going to first, if you notice the vinegar is cloudy and there's some residue on the bottom, that is the mother. Lots of good probiotic benefit. So I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons to get it started. Then I'm going to fill it up with water. Now, if you have city water and your water has chlorine in it, it will inhibit the formation of vinegar. So you do want to use distilled water. If you're sure that your vinegar has, your water has chlorine and not chloramine, you can also get water out of the tap, let it sit for 24 hours open, and the chlorine will dissipate. Chloramine, on the other hand, will not. If you're not sure what you have, you can call your water supplier, and usually on their website it will have some analysis of what they're putting in the water. Well water obviously doesn't have those type of chemicals in it, so you don't have to worry. So what I'm trying to do here is submerge those petals. I am going to top it off, with just a little bit of water. And then you want to cover it. And as this vinegar becomes active, it may start to bubble up and over. You got out of there. So I'm just taking a piece of fabric. I'm going to screw the lid down. Of course, I did some festive fall fabric. Anything to make it feel cooler, right? And I will leave this sit on my counter for about 30 days. I will be stirring it daily. And what you'll see is it will start to bubble. The water portion will discolor. It will probably become mostly pink. In this case, because they're knockout pink roses. And it will take on a vinegar smell over time. So this is just going to sit on my counter. So there's another use. Make every bit count of flowers that you may not have thought of. So as I've mentioned in earlier videos, I won't be doing Every Bit Counts challenge every single day, but I thought I'd get us off to a good start here at the 1st of August. So drop me a comment below. Are you participating in the Every Bit Counts challenge? Do you have other ideas for your flowers? I'd love to hear. Don't forget to smash that like button. And as always, until I see you again, be healthy, be well, be blessed. Take care.